Over the past few years, Ford dealers have been getting more and more greedy, charging huge markups over MSRP on just about every vehicle they sell. However, these dealers are now starting to get desperate to sell their trucks and SUVs after a massive drop in sales numbers. Ford dealers totally screwed buyers, and now they're having to pay the price for their actions. In the 1987 film Wall Street, Gordon Gekko makes the following statement.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
That's right, he says that greed is good. From mid-2020 all the way into 2023, Ford dealerships agreed with the famous Wall Street character. They thought that greed was good, so they just kept marking up their vehicles and raising prices. But just like the horrific Wall Street crash of 2008, Ford dealerships in 2023 are in big trouble. New car inventory is bouncing back to pre-pandemic levels, and some dealers still refuse to lower their prices. This means Ford dealers who are still charging ridiculous markups and price gouging are going to be hit in the face with a massive reality check. What's about to happen is going to be really bad for them, but very, very good for you. The Ford dealership collapse has begun, and in this video, I'm going to go over how this dealership crisis started, the reason Ford can't sell any trucks or SUVs, and why Ford dealerships are totally screwed in 2023. To really understand what's happening with Ford dealers right now, we have to look back over the past couple years and what led up to this upcoming collapse. In 2022, I began looking for a Ford Bronco to buy right in the middle of the great chip shortage. But every time I found one on the dealer lot or for sale online, it had an insane markup over MSRP, which dealers like to call a market adjustment. If it was new, the markup was around $15,000, and used Broncos went for almost double that number from the used car dealerships, as they didn't have to report back to the corporate Ford machine. Car dealerships basically became the Wild West. If you had deep pockets, you could get any Ford Bronco you desired. The rest of us just had to buy a Jeep. The same thing was happening with other Ford trucks and SUVs as well due to massive chip shortages. If you went to a Ford dealer lot in 2021 or 2022, you would know that the lot was basically a ghost town with little to no inventory. And what inventory they did have was always listed with insane dealer markups. Because of this, I ended up buying a used Jeep Wrangler Rubicon from Carvana that was also at a slightly inflated price of about $3,000 compared to 2 years prior. But I really had no choice. I needed a good four-wheel drive vehicle since it was the middle of winter here in Idaho, and I was without a car after selling my 80 Series Land Cruiser, which was a really bad idea even though I did make some profit off of it. Never sell your Land Cruiser. Even though I paid more for the Jeep than I should have, at least the Jeep was only around $33,000 instead of $85,000 for what should have been a $55,000 Ford Bronco. While my Ford Bronco hunt was really frustrating, I wasn't the only consumer dealing with this greed from Ford dealerships. This dealer that I'm about to show you actually made a woman cry.
She's very emotional right now. She has tears in her eyes.
How can, like, seriously, like, I'm literally shaking. You're gonna bump it up $10,000 6 days before the cut.
The Ford dealership had agreed to sell them the Bronco at MSRP at the time of the order, only to be hit with a $10,000 markup 6 days before the delivery. What makes this situation even worse is that her husband had worked for this dealership for 19 years.
We got a call a few days ago, and they basically told us, hey, your Bronco's gonna be in, but guess what? We're gonna charge you another $10,000 on top of the sticker price, because we can. So, I'm emotional, and I shouldn't be because it's a stupid car. But I like it, and I don't want to like it right now. So we're gonna go have a conversation and see what the outcome will be.
The Bronco wasn't the only vehicle being marked up by Ford dealers over the past few years. The Ford Lightning had market adjustments as much as $100,000 over MSRP when it was first released, and the little Maverick also had dealer markups as high as $9,000 over on a $25,000 MSRP truck. That's where CEO Jim Farley stepped in to put a stop to this madness, or at least we all thought he was going to do something.
We have to go to a non-negotiated price, totally online, transparent, 100% pickup and delivery model.
Ford CEO Jim Farley not only said that Ford had to get rid of the dealerships and go direct to consumer, he also sent a message directly to dealers about these markups on February of 2022. According to The Drive, CEO Jim Farley said he was keeping tabs on dealers going above and beyond what is reasonable and wouldn't hesitate to levy consequences in the form of reduced vehicle allocations, which included the new F-150 Lightning. Farley claimed that about 10% of the dealer network had been charging above MSRP and that he wasn't thrilled about it. I personally think it was closer to 75%, but whatever. Farley continued by saying, "We have very good knowledge of who they are, and their future allocation of product will be directly impacted." Despite these comments from the Ford CEO, business continued as usual and no dealers were punished. Ford has also drastically increased the MSRP of all 2023 models to try and give dealers a higher profit margin and keep them from feeling like they need to add these markups. But this is making the situation even worse. Popular vehicles like the Ford Maverick, the F-150 Lightning, and the Ford Bronco continue to get marked up to this day due to what dealers claim are still being caused by limited availability and slow production. However, that excuse is no longer valid going into 2023, as the Ford lots are now completely full of trucks and SUVs. In a recent video posted to YouTube by the channel Car Questions Answered, he explained why the franchise dealerships are Ford's biggest problem.
So Ford, here's the problem. Your franchise dealers are killing the trust of your consumers. Your franchise dealers are killing your brand. Your franchise dealers are killing your legacy.
Ford dealerships can't keep treating customers like idiots and expect their profits to continue rolling in. New car inventory is bouncing back to pre-pandemic levels and some dealers still refuse to lower prices. This is causing the dealers to be sitting on a ton of new inventory that they now cannot sell. Over the past 2 years, everyone wanted a new vehicle, but they just couldn't buy one. In 2023, Ford dealerships have more inventory than ever, but now they can't sell them and their trucks just sit on the lot collecting dust. So why is this happening now? Why can't Ford dealerships sell any of these vehicles when we were all practically begging for trucks last year? To find out firsthand why these Ford dealerships can't sell anything, I decided to take a little trip to my local Ford dealership to see what's really going on here. There's a Ford dealership that's not that far from me down the road, so I want to get in my Jeep, drive down to Ford, wander around their lot just a little bit and see if they're still marking up vehicles or if they're learning from these mistakes and finally coming down to reasonable prices to sell some more trucks. And before we go, I looked online real quick just to get an idea of what they have. I found this 2022 F-150 Raptor and they have it for $87,995. This 2022 F-150 Lightning for $91,995. And of course, like a bunch of more regular F-150s, these are used and looks like they have a new one here, but there's no official photo. So let's run down to this dealership, look at their stickers, and see if there's any market adjustments on these windows. And there's my Jeep parked in the best spot here. There's the F-150 Lightning. Let's see how much it is. All right, here's the Lightning. I really like this gray color. And they are asking $96,995. And there's no window sticker in it. It's just a warranty sticker. There's no actual window sticker. They did put the window sticker on the listing on AutoTrader. So I'll show you what the MSRP of that was because they are marking up these Lightnings. There's this Ford Raptor here that is a used vehicle. So I'm pretty sure because it's used that it's gonna be marked up. They're asking $87,995 for this thing. And again, there's no window sticker because it's used, so they didn't put it in there. So they have a second F-150 Lightning here. And this one they're asking $91,995 for. And I talked to a salesman and he said basically they are asking markup on special vehicles still, like the Lightning and the Raptor. However, this F-150 is new. This F-150 is new. They have an entire row of brand new Super Duties as far as the eye can see. F-150s over here. All this row, everything here is new. They also have an entire row of little baby Broncos. And let's take a look at this yellow one. MSRP of $35,590 and a selling price of $35,590. Now, I also found some really good news as I was wondering a lot because you can now find a new F-150 under MSRP. I saw this little silver 2022. It's brand new. MSRP of $53,495. And their asking price is $50,967. A discount of over $2,500. But again, even though they are starting to come down on prices on some of these vehicles, as you can see behind me, they have all this inventory that they just cannot sell. So there is some good news despite all of this craziness that's been going on. They have all these F-150s and Super Duties, and basically those are all going to be at MSRP. There's no markup on these regular trucks anymore because they need to sell them. As you can see, the lot is really full. There are trucks everywhere. They need to now get rid of these. And the salesman even joked around that said, I'll practically give you one for free. While everything looked amazing on the outside of the Ford dealership with a full lot and tons of vehicles at MSRP, seeing all those trucks and SUVs, you might think that you'd be able to find one at your budget at a reasonable price. Oh boy, would you be wrong. Things don't look so good when you dig just a little bit deeper below the surface. This is where Ford's huge problem really begins. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said, Ford dealers screwed buyers and now they're paying the price? That's where this part of the video comes in, so pay attention because it gets a little bit shady. When I got home, I jumped online to check the window stickers that had somehow disappeared out of the Raptor and Lightning trucks that were there. The white Lightning that was listed for $89,995 actually had an MSRP of just $81,279, a market adjustment of over $8,000. And that cool new Raptor that they listed for $87,995 had an MSRP of just $81,020, a dealer markup of over $6,000. While it has gone down from the peak of insanity, as you can see, there are still dealer markups being charged on special vehicles like the Ford Raptor, the F-150 Lightning, and the new Bronco. However, not directly revealing that they're trying to sell these trucks over the original MSRP is a really shady way of doing business. And I bet they're not the only dealer still doing this. Now back over to that giant row of trucks that covered the entire lot. This is where the dealers are really going to get screwed. Over the past couple of years, supply constraints, rising inflation, and high interest rates have dramatically increased the price of everything you buy. From the eggs in your fridge, the gas you put in your tank, and the vehicle you drive to the store to pick them up with. Ford truck prices have increased so much over the past few years that any smart person with the tiniest amount of common sense can't afford to buy one in 2023. Along with everything else, vehicle prices have been on the rise. Ford joins this trend with price hikes across several models in its lineup, and the popular F-150 sees the biggest price bump. Today, in 2023, the prices are going even higher. The 2023 F-150 starts at over $4,000 more than the previous 2022 model, and a second price hike was announced on the F-150 Lightning. The electric pickup truck saw a substantial price increase in August for the 2023 model year, but now the cost to purchase a Lightning has risen even higher. The base Lightning Pro, which originally started at $41,769 for the 2022 model year, will now start at $53,769 for the Pro, and the top platinum trim goes for a whopping $98,669, an increase of over $12,000 from its original release just over a year ago. When I checked Ford's website, the entry-level F-150 Lariat, the cheapest full-size truck that they offer with 4 doors, started at an eye-popping $60,080 after destination charges and fees. Let me say that again. The base model, 4-door, 2-wheel drive V6 F-150 is now $60,080. If you want to go even fancier, you can grab yourself a limited trim level starting at a vomit-inducing $84,910. With prices like these, I have to ask one question. Who is buying these trucks? The answer, nobody. Not a single person. The average American could barely afford to live off their income the past 2 years. Now we're dealing with rising inflation, the highest interest rates in recent memory, and prices of literally everything going up with no relief in sight. Ford truck prices are way too high, and because of everything going on in our economy today, these super expensive new trucks are just going to sit there at the dealer. The only trucks on that Ford lot that had any discount off of MSRP were the older 2022 models that sat for a year waiting on ship. These 2023 trucks are now so expensive, we just can't afford them. Add on the crazy 8% interest rates, and Americans are just not willing to pay that price. But after all this is said and done, the Ford dealers are going to be paying the price for us, and it's not going to be pretty. If you just wait long enough, they might just have to offer huge discounts by the end of 2023, or risk going out of business. Then maybe Ford's CEO can make good on his promise to get rid of all the shady dealers forever. Congratulations, you made it to the end of this video, and if you thought it was informative and entertaining and whatever else, please smash the crap out of that like button. Just give it a gentle tap. If you want to hear more automotive news, just hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on notifications, and I'll see you tomorrow.